California has introduced a bill that would mandate all new cars to have a device that will automatically limit speed to no more than 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. Or what? The governor will just slow the car down? Or will it shut off in the middle of the road, which reminds me of the movie Leave the World Behind? Let's discuss on Azimuth Podcast. I'm Kimberly McNabb.
And I'm Barrett McNabb. You know, this is a really unique bill. It has a couple of different facets to it, but primarily is exactly what you said about limiting the speed of vehicles to 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. But it also requires underguards for the SUVs and trucks and things like that to make sure that bikes and pedestrians aren't pulled underneath the vehicle during a crash, which I know has happened in the news a couple of times. I think, within the past year, there was a police officer that was struck and drugged. I think there was actually an 18-wheeler that hit a woman in a wheelchair and actually drug her and the wheelchair. So, but how often does it happen? I'm not quite sure, but I have seen some of those in the news.
Well, a concern I have is, vehicles are already really expensive these days, and especially in California where everything costs more. So the more stuff you add to a vehicle, the more it's going to cost. And so California is going to mandate that new cars are even more expensive.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, as you keep adding more and more things, it's going to drive the price of the vehicle up. Is there any offsets for insurance or anything like that? Who knows? Who knows? But regardless, this vehicle bill, vehicles, I think even like the Ford Taurus and other vehicles had parental controls for a few years now, where parents could have a teenager mode where it would either limit the speed of the vehicle, so 45 miles an hour, meaning that the teenager couldn't get on a highway, or speed alerts, where if the vehicle went over 50 miles an hour, parents got a text message. But I think this is a little overkill to have the government stepping in.
Yeah, governors are what parents should put on their kids' cars.
Right.
Voters are not children. And now an adult may identify as a 12-year-old, but it doesn't make them children. And the government needs to stop treating citizens like children. So, today it's new vehicles, but, next thing you know, it'll be all registered vehicles in the state.
Yeah, I have some heartburn with this, because what was it again that prompted the state to do this?
So they claim it's to, reduce highway deaths, deaths related to speeds, because it can be dangerous to go super fast. But, I wonder, people come from overseas. They don't just bring their cultures. They also bring their driving habits.
Right.
And so with California having these sanctuary cities, I'm wondering if the illegal immigrants are bringing some of their driving habits with them. And we saw in Morocco, they don't drive the same way. I mean, if you go in one of these roundabouts in like Rabat, Morocco, the cars are literally this close together. I mean, you could put pieces of paper between the cars, and it was just really scary. Like, oh my goodness, how are we not hitting each other? And all these cars have scrapes on the sides because they don't care, and then they bring that stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, especially with some of the worst congestion I've ever seen, was in Cairo, Egypt. That is just absolutely gridlock there. But I think some of this, to your point, is we have people coming in and driving in other countries is a little more demolition derby esque than it is here in the United States, and we are seeing a lot of that. We're seeing a lot of this uptick with the road rage. And so I almost, as a criminal justice major, I almost want to say this is almost like a broken windows scenario where is the speeding some type of reaction to the fact that California has such lax laws and no cash bail and not prosecuting things. Is this exacerbating greater crimes? And so this is the knee-jerk reaction that the state of California is doing in order to kind of suspend this broken windows policy. And for those of you that aren't aware, it's developed in the East Coast, and it's a policing theory that if a building has broken windows, like an abandoned factory or things like that, it leads to other crimes. So people don't care about throwing rocks at these windows and breaking them, so then they don't care about petty marijuana sales. They don't care about petty jaywalking and things like that. And as these smaller offenses start growing, then they're pushing the envelope. The criminals are always continuously pushing the envelope. And I think this could be one of those where California has just gone 180 degrees from the vast majority of the United States as far as law and order, and not prosecuting these people, and meaning criminals. And I think this is just a knee jerk.
I can see several things going on. Back to the legal immigrants, you can either hypothesize, okay, they broke our federal laws by coming into the country illegally, so what's to say they're going to respect our local laws by speed limits? But on the flip side, if someone came in here illegally, they don't, even though they're in a sanctuary city, they may still be afraid of being caught, so then they're going to drive slowly. And if you've ever crossed between Texas and Louisiana, the speed limit goes up to 80, and you have the old grandmotherly types driving 45, and then you have the cowboys driving 95. In a very narrow road, it is very dangerous. So to have people speeding and people going slow, very, very dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a mixture. That's been kind of forever. You want to kind of go with the flow of traffic. At least that's what I was taught in driver's education. But the vehicles and crimes seem to be just kind of spiraling out of control. To your point about illegal immigrants wanting to be kind of under the radar. Here in Texas, we're having a big problem with temporary tags. And the temporary tag issue, people are counterfeiting temporary tags, dealer tags, that you get when you buy a new car or a used car from a lot, and you're applying for your license plates. And so the dealer tags have a little piece of paper that gets taped on, and those are being counterfeited left and right.
And some of them you can kind of tell because my stepfather worked at a car dealership for a long time, and so even if it's a used car, you're still supposed to spruce it up a little bit.
Right.
And there's no way some of these cars with these temporary tags would be seen going off a dealer's lot. I mean,
right.
There's just no way. They're too damaged.
But we're seeing states, cracking down on vehicles of all natures. It's kind of interesting when you look at 10 miles an hour. So 10 miles an hour. Is that enough speed to be safe when passing someone? Especially on some of these California roads that are twisting and turning and stuff like that. Now, I know the law says that you're only supposed to pass somebody if you can pass them by going the speed limit. So, for example, if the speed limit is 45 miles an hour and someone is going 25 miles an hour and you're wanting to pass them, you're able to accelerate an additional 20 miles an hour in order to get around them. You're not allowed to accelerate 50 miles an hour to get around them. Now, who does that? Who does that?
Also, if you're on a narrow, twisty road, you don't know exactly what's around the corner. You may need to speed up pretty quickly. But there's another thing that I may think may be going on with, excessive speeding and whatnot. I think people are very frustrated these days just with how divisive everyone is these days, and so they may be taking it out on the road as well. Especially if you're in California, everything seems to be nanny state.
Well, yeah, I mean,
say.
they're mandating all the electric vehicle action, which is terrible for the environment. So for using that as an environmental concern, it's horrible to mine lithium to make these electric batteries. But still, the big problem that I have is it going to be where the government can then turn off your vehicles at will? Because we're already seeing, over-the-air updates for Tesla vehicles and electric vehicles. To your point concerning the movie, there's the scene where the Teslas all kind of freak out and are ramming into each other. Now, obviously, this is fiction, but still, it's not beyond the realm of the impossible for someone to hack your electric vehicle and start doing something with it. I know the law enforcement development. There's lots of companies developing, electric rifles that disable vehicles. I know there's technology on the market that was originally designed to disrupt spark plugs to stop the cylinders from firing and the spark plugs from sparking the ignition to create forward momentum, and that was on a combustible engine. So I can only imagine that these devices would be used for electric vehicles as well. However, if the government has the off switch available to them, are they going to use it?
Yeah. Or they can say, oh, you've driven too many miles this month.
So
you're not
put
allowed
a pause
to
on your car
drive and take your wife to the hospital or anything like that. So I got this article from Fox News, and the best part of the article was the comment section.
Right.
So one person commented, oh, great, this is going to make my vintage non-electric vehicle more valuable. And, someone else also commented, well, just go to another state where a relative lives, purchase the vehicle, and register it there. And, what else is next?
Yeah, I mean obviously you've got, with California having their ammunition and things like that on lockdown, and you have to go through all these hoops to get ammunition. I know a lot of it was overturned by the courts, but still, there were plenty of gun stores that opened up right on the Nevada-California border, just so you could go straight across Nevada by 100 meters, buy ammunition, and then run right back over to California. I would imagine you're going to see some pop-up locations like that for car dealers and things like that. But still, I mean, this is just silly. I mean, this is just government interfering with lives, and it's not the beginning. It's going to keep going.
Yeah, it's just making life harder for law-abiding citizens. Another comment was, well, what's next? No credit card purchases for unhealthy food? I mean, you're already seeing some restaurants not accept cash. There's one of our favorite restaurants outside the window. It says no cash on site.
Right.
This is credit card only.
Which I always have a heartburn with, because on the U.S. currency it says legal tender for all debts, public and private. And I really think that should be held to be the standard for the United States, because it says so on the money.
Yep. Read the money. But my favorite comment was, so you can't drive more than 10 miles per hour over the speed limit, but you know what is cool? Stabbing someone 108 times, or still less than $950 worth of stuff at a time. Not cumulative over your lifetime. No, you can do it again the next day. That's all okay. Next thing you know, go rob a bank. They'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, that it's just absurd. And again, it just starts with, where are your priorities? And that's why I kind of reference the broken windows theory, policing theory, is because it seems as though California is not realizing that all of the weak on crime just compounds itself. And so I think a symptom of people speeding and things like that, which is what this law is supposed to attempt to prevent, is just being it's misplaced.
Yes, their priorities are misplaced. It may seem good intentioned, but they have much bigger problems to take on. So put intentions aside, and you know what they say about intentions. The path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Well, so what do you think? What do you think? And should you care? Go ahead and leave in the comments. Please, let's get this conversation started and talk about it, because I know there are a lot of people that are polarized. But if you think it's a good idea, let us know. And if you think it's a bad idea, also let us know. And we'll take care of this in the comments as well. So stay tuned after these messages.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.